Hello and welcome to Lord Fenton Gaming Plays Diablo II Resurrected. I'm your host Lord Fenton. In the latest of the Don't Panic series, I'm going to show you all how to survive Diablo 2. That could be either this version I'm playing, the Diablo 2 Resurrected, the original version by itself, or Diablo 2 plus the Lord of Destruction. This guide will show you everything, including recipes and more. So let's go ahead and get started with the guide, shall we? Let's go ahead, before I do get to the classes, talk about online versus offline. Now offline, you have little to no connection problem at all. Most likely it's on your own system. However, you cannot play with others. Yeah, that's right, no Battle.net fun. Now online you get Battle.net fun, yet from time to time you might get lag and etc. and errors. It's up to you on which path you want to go. I decided to do online so I can play with others. So now for the next part of the video, we're going to go ahead and talk about classes. I'm going to go ahead and go briefly over the classes. If anyone else wants a full detailed guide, just say so in the comments and I will definitely go ahead and make them. So anyways, first one is the Amazon class. They can use javelins and spears, and they can also use bow and arrows. Yeah, that's right. They're pretty good range attacks. Consider them like a souped up rogue from Diablo 1, now in Diablo 2. So next up on the list is the Assassin. This is an expansion class for those of you who have the Lords of Destruction expansion or Diablo 2 Resurrected. They are very fast hitting and they do have extremely deadly traps. Yeah, in fact, there's a trap assassin builds all over the internet. So next up, I'm going to show after the Assassin is the Necromancer. They could summon minions, they could curse enemies, and their specialty in direct damage, if you want to call it that, is poison. They are really powerful from range, but don't put them too close up line, you'll get killed easily. Now, for the next class I'm going to talk about is the Barbarian one. So, Barbarian class are your close quarter fighters. They have very powerful melee moves, they can master certain weapons, and yeah, they are really devastating. Go look up Whirlwind Barbarian and see why. So after the Barbarian class is another frontline fighter class. This one is definitely different than the Barbarian. The Paladin. They can use auroras, offensive, defensive. They can also use certain skills to combat against certain foes. They're really great against undead. And not only they're good in close quarter combat, they can be really helpful. Yeah, those auroras can do a whole bunch of good for a party. Now, the Sorceress, they're the masters of fire, lightning, and ice. 3 of the 4 magical damage in this game. They're really powerful, unique, and more devastating than the Sorcerer in Diablo 1. Yeah, so if you ever see a Sorceress in your party, you should be really happy. Now, last but not least is the Druid class. They could either summon creatures to help them out, use elemental magic, or they could shape-shift. Yeah, that shape-shifting can be really powerful. I'm going to say about classes, pick which one you feel more comfortable with. If you like to go ranged, then Sorceress, Amazon with the bow and arrow setup, and Necromancer is fine. If you like frontline, like for example, Paladins and Barbarians, any shape-shifting Druid, etc., even Assassins too. Yeah, builds make the difference, not the class itself. So if you have a good skill setup, you can really wreck things. So let's get to the next section of this guide. In Diablo 2, Diablo 2 Resurrected, or Diablo 2 plus Lords of Destruction, there's always 3 difficulties. You always will start out at normal, at times can be easy, can be hard. After you've beaten all 5 acts, or all 4 if you're playing only the original version in Diablo 2, then you move up to Nightmare. Things will start to get tougher, your resistance start to get lower, enemies will connect more often, you'll miss a little bit more often due to the fact they're a little more higher. And the toughest difficulty after you've beaten the Nightmare one is Hell. It's the toughest of the toughest. You get much lower resistance. Enemies are much more tougher and more brutal. And the bosses do not play around. So definitely want to spend some time, at least in one playthrough on normal, then go through the ropes on Nightmare, and then finally Hell. Once you create your character of your choice, it is time to definitely start the game. For this guide, I'll be swapping between the Paladin and Necromancer. So you start out with not that great equipment. Oh, don't worry. After talking to the people in this area to get your first quest, well, you go out there and get some equipment. Before I do send you into danger, let's go over the basics. Now you see the potions on the bottom right. You start with 4 a stack. Later on you get belts that'll increase the amount of potions you could carry. The diagonal arrows downward is your skills. Now, as for life, when you have 0 life, you die. So make sure you keep that up constantly. Mana, that's when you use some certain skills. You run out of mana, you can't use certain skills. So next up, I'm going to show you is the run button. Yeah, that's the R button on the PC version. Console version might be different. Run out of stamina, you're forced to walk. Now this is your character stats. I will go into greater detail. Also, there's your advanced stats too. In case you have certain items, I'll give you bonuses. This is your skill tree. Yeah, that's right. When you level up, you definitely want to get the skill tree, picking your skills out. This is your quest log. This is where all your quests are at. Next up is your inventory. We'll get into that quite a bit. And after that is your auto map. On the PC version, that's your tab key. This is where you get to see how much you cover ground. This is your party window in case you want to invite people over. And last but not least, your game menu in case you want to, fix the sound or something like that, or up the graphics. Next up on the list is the inventory. So inventory is by squares. Bigger bulky items will take up more squares. New to this game will be also swap weapons, so you can have 2 weapon sets. Certain classes will benefit from it. So for instance, if you're playing like my paladin that I froze right there, using a sword or shield, and all of a sudden likes to use a 2-handed weapon, well, you could do that. However, if some skill bonuses are on certain weapons, for example, this short sword plus 1 prayer, as soon as I swap to a 2-handed weapon, I lose those bonuses. So do be careful on that. Now, one more thing is new to Diablo 2, all versions are charms. And some charms can be either small, take up 1 space, large charms take up 2, and the grand charms could take up 4 spaces like a column. So yeah, if you have too many grand charms there and you see some wonderful stats, you better manage your inventory. I'm gonna give everybody one more tip. Make sure you get tomes. Reason being is this way you don't have to carry 20 town portal scrolls or 20 identify item scrolls. Instead, each tome will fit up 20 scrolls in 1 book. Really easy to manage your inventory there. So do be careful on inventory management. Let's get to the next part of the guide. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the stash. Now, if you're playing the original Diablo 2 or the original Diablo 2 plus Lords of Destruction, well, guess what? You only get this stash. Now, if you're playing the Diablo 2 Resurrected, you get a stash not only for yourself, but other characters too. Non-ladder characters. So you can share them on your characters or use that to store, for example, 1 section for potions, another for gems, or other parts for rune words. So let's get to the next part of the guide. The next section of this guide is stats. So I'm going to go over everything. Now, you see Nathan, that's the character name. Under it is your character level and how much experience points you definitely do need to get. When that fills up, that's when you level up. Same thing too in the UI. When you see those bars fill up, that means you leveled up. Now, strength, that means increase your attack damage. It allows you to equip more better weapons and armor, more heavier stuff. Yeah, so you play a barbarian with high strength, you get to do that. Now, dexterity, increased attack rating, allows you to equip certain weapons, like for instance, bow and arrows. Vitality, what that does is it gives you more life and stamina. Many builds will actually tell you just to max that out. Now, the 4th one on the list is energy. This will give you more mana. More energy, more mana to cast certain skills. Now, I'm going to go to the right, and I'm going to say this right now. Attack and slash damage. The first 2 ones, that's how much damage you could do with certain skills or basic attacks. Attack range, like your chance to hit, how well you could hit your enemies and can land. Now, defense, how well you could defend against enemy attacks, especially against physical ones. Underneath the defense is your stamina, life, and mana. Now, next up is the 4 magical damages you could resist. First one's fire. You could resist fire damage. After that, cold, you'll resist cold damage. And then lightning, you resist lightning damage. And also, last but not least, you could resist poison damage. So, I'm going to probably say is go ahead and boost whatever stat or your class excels at. Like, for example, barbarians, yeah, should be a little bit more strength. And also, one more thing about resistance, I'm going to say again, if you have a tough time with certain bosses, well, go ahead and look for resistant items to help you out big time so you can survive their attacks. I'm going to go ahead and get to the next section. I'm going to give some advice about these skills. Put 1 point each, don't go beyond 2 unless you're using said skill quite a bit. For example, if you're using a lot of fire or aurora resistance, go ahead and put points into that. Now, some skills will have synergies. definitely take full advantage of it. I'm going to say if you plan carefully, you could have 4 skills at 20 points each. And that's about it for skills. Let's talk about hotkeys and why it is very important to do so. In Diablo II Resurrected console version, you get 6. Now, in the PC version of Diablo II Resurrected, the original Diablo 2, and also Diablo 2 plus Lords of Destruction, you get 8. Hotkeying is real easy to set up. For the PC version I'm demonstrating. So the first button I want to do, for instance, Town Portal, I'll put F1. Eventually we'll switch it to F2. So yeah, you can, like I said before, up to 8 on the PC, 6 on the console. Definitely want to hotkey the skills you use the most. And if you find a new skill that you definitely want to use, then get rid of the old one that you use the least and put the new one there. Let's go ahead and talk about potions and scrolls. So first of all, we're going to talk about the blue potion. They're mana potions. The red ones are the healing potions. In other words, they'll heal your life. After that, there are keys. At least they have 1 stack of 12. So this way you could unlock treasure chests that are locked. Scrolls identity, identify items. Scroll Town Portal will get you a Town Portal out in the world so you get back in the town. Thawing Potion gets rid of frozen. Antidote gets rid of poison. And Stamina Potion boosts up your stamina. Now also there's throwing potions, so this way you could throw poison or explosions. Now Tome of Identity, you could carry 20 identity scrolls. Tome of Town Portal, you could carry 20 Town Portal scrolls. Definitely get the tomes and stock up on potions just in case things does not go your way. The first thing you should definitely do when you arrive at a safe haven in each of the acts is to talk to everyone. Talk to every NPC, know what they do, hear their story. You might get a quest or 2, and you might get some services, like for example this blacksmith. You could buy and sell equipment here, repair. Just remember, drag your item you want to sell from the inventory into any of the empty spaces and you'll get gold. Really simple, really easy. Now do be careful on the gamble items, because when you spend gold it might be worthless, it might be great, and once in a while you might get something good. So save up that gold after you kill so many monsters and find so many loot. The next topic is the mercenaries. So you definitely want to have a mercenary on your side. Pick one that tailors to your needs. So for example, I'm a necromancer, I need a melee mercenary. And yes, if you decide to switch to different type of mercenaries, or a same type of mercenary, a different one, the equipment on said mercenary you're about to get rid of will be gone. So do be careful. And they do cost gold. And when they do die, you have to pay up for the resurrection. So also one more thing, you can equip your mercenary. It depends on their stats, what items they could use. However, their weapons are very restrictive. Like for example, my melee mercenary can only use pole arms. So definitely invest in a mercenary. I'm going to speak about the quest system. So quests you could discover out in the world, sometimes automatic when you enter a new area, or better yet, talk to the NPCs in the safe havens in each of the acts. So I skipped ahead right now to getting the first quest, which is the Den of Evil. Always want to talk to Akara when you start out in this game in order to get this very important quest. I'll tell you why it's very important later on in the video, but still, once you finish listening to the NPC story, the quest will be in the journal and you're good to go. Do not worry if some of these quests are out of order or you haven't completed them yet. Many of them are ongoing throughout the acts. So for example, one in Act 2 is definitely ongoing, so don't panic at all. Just keep on questing, keep on killing, keep on advancing through the areas in the story, and you'll knock out these quests in no time at all. After you gather vital information from the people in the safe havens and are ready to go, well, it is time to go outside of the safe haven and into the dangerous world of Diablo 2 or Diablo 2 Resurrected. So yeah, dangers everywhere, you could die, so do be careful. The combat's very simple, just click on the enemy if you're near or far, depending on what you have. Sometimes ranged weapons you just click from a safe distance. Other times, like for example my paladin here has to get items. And yes, do pick everything up. Yeah, you start out with 0 gold, you might as well get everything on the ground. I'll probably advise this even further, just keep on doing this until you get about 100k. Then focus on magical items and up. And that's about it. Speaking of which, I need to talk about the level grade of the magical items next. You all been noticing that different color items that do drop. In this case, you see many white. Well, there's more than that, so I'm going to show you the item level and their colors. White equals common items. For the most part, they're vendor trash. Gray means they're white items that are socket. Some of the stats might be better than the white items. Blue means they're magic items. Yellow means they're rare items. In some cases, they're better than the blue items in stats, etc. Green means they're part of a set piece. So if you see those, definitely pick them up. You collect the whole entire set, you get the bonuses from it. Gold means they are unique items. And I forgot to mention one more thing. There are class only items, so definitely look out for those of your class. Let me give you all some combat advice. Know when to fight, know when to run away, just enough for you to split off the enemies. Know when you should definitely town portal. If not, yeah, you're gonna die. So if there's enemies, like a whole bunch of them, better just run away. Hopefully you can split most of them off, then come back and weed them out. If not, make sure you have a nice town portal for a safe point. And yes, you can use town portal to restock for the most part. And the boss's meters are still there that you left them. There's only 2 bosses in the game that will not allow you to do that. That's the final 2 quests of Act 5. So that's a warning there. Yeah, so just learn the area and know your escape points. When you die in Diablo 2, you will drop a whole bunch of gold, your corpse full of items, and you will take a gold penalty. Now, if you're playing hardcore mode, you're dead. That's it. I advise against playing that for your first time. So anyways, in order to get your items back, you will have to definitely get to the corpse. If you have too many corpses, and then all of a sudden you get kicked out of the game, the most recent corpse will be there when you return, and you lose all your items. So do be careful when you die. Focus on recovering the corpse before going on. After you get enough experience points by killing many foes, you will definitely level up. So when you do level up, you will get 1 skill point and 5 stats to put in. So let me go ahead and clear all these foes out. Yeah, definitely make sure it's clear before you level up. Otherwise, yeah, they'll wail on you. So I'm going to go ahead and show you right now on the actually leveling up part. So make sure you be careful putting in your stats and skills because they are kind of permanent. There's ways to respec, but I'll touch upon that later on in the video. There's your 5 points. We're going to go ahead and put 5 into where I feel necessary. So for instance, I'm putting 2 in the strength, 1 in dexterity, and 2 in the vitality. And yeah, when you do skills too, yeah, you do get a new skill if you haven't gotten it yet. So I am going to go ahead and do might. And now, anytime you get a new skill and you feel like you're definitely going to use it, hotkey it. See, I'm about to go ahead and replace that town portal with the might one. So there you go. I got the might aurora ready to go. I'm all leveled up. Let's go ahead and talk about the next section. Let's speak about maps, waypoints, and town portals. I already did town portal outside the field. So anyways, wherever you filled up on a map, it will definitely show. Now, if you're playing an online game and you exit, well, you have to refill the map, except for the safe havens. As for waypoints, once you find said waypoint, it'll be recorded. So this way you could get to the zone a lot quicker. It makes it better for faster progression, also faster farming bosses. Now, town portal, you usually get 1. There is a shrine that will give you an extra town portal. Yeah, if you see those, definitely take advantage of that. And one more thing about maps. So if you enter a new area you never entered before, well, guess what? You're going to have to definitely fill it up. See, I have the map empty. I don't see anything except for the spot I am at. And that's basically about it, about the 3. There are normal foes in Diablo 2, even ones that will resurrect others, and then there are foes that are unique. Yeah, the unique ones have a unique name, unique properties, and they always will, from time to time, either drop high gold or some nice loot for you to sell or use. There's also champion type of foes. They do the same thing as unique ones, except for they're like champion or some other title that are the normal foes. And there are bosses too. The bosses are the most dangerous ones, so do be careful when you face them. I'll probably say is isolate the unique foes, bosses, or the champion ones, regular foes, then go after the target. And that's about it for this section. Shrines in Diablo 2, all versions including Diablo 2 Resurrected, can either help you or harm you. So what I'm going to do right now is go ahead and show you a list of the shrines, what they all do, including the well. So I'm going to go ahead and say this. If you need to definitely look up a shrine, just go ahead and pause the video and then see what they all do. I'm going to go ahead and leave some music for you all to listen while you check out what all these shrines does do in this game. Prefixes and suffixes are back from Diablo 1. There is a lot more this time. My only advice is depends on what your class is. Definitely go look for it. If there's any special class ones, go for it. You may never know. You might find something in a skill that you want to boost up via items. Other than that, that's my only advice. So the next section will be the Horadric Cube and its recipes. New to Diablo 2 is the Horadric Cube. You get this cube in Act 2. You could combine certain things together. Just be careful on what items you're going to combine because you might lose it if you try to upgrade from one thing to another. So what I'm going to do is not only show you all the recipe, also what the gems can do. Definitely pause the video if you need certain recipes. And yeah, I'll definitely put timestamps for this section. So here we go. New to Diablo 2 are the rune words. With these runes, you gotta put them in the correct order. This only happens in Diablo 2 plus Lords of Destruction expansion and Diablo 2 Resurrected. So anyways, you gotta make sure you socket them in the correct order. So you gotta socket Ralph first. Then after that, you must socket, of course, Ort second. And finally, Tal third. Now, they have to be socketed in certain weapons in order for them to work. So I'm going to show you the combinations, then the type of weapons armor you could do. The special effects I'll let you all see for yourselves, and here we go. The big question you're all asking me is this: should I play online or not? Well, yes and no. If you're going through the game for the first time, definitely stay away from going online. So this way you learn the tactics of enemies, including bosses too. Now online it's pretty good, so this way you get your friends and much more. So I'll probably give everybody a nice sound advice on that, saying yes if you want to have help from once in a while, and no if you want to learn the game. Once you do learn the game, then go online all you want. You can go through Nightmare or even Hell difficulty with a group of good people. So you're all asking, can I respec in Diablo 2 or Diablo 2 Resurrected? Oh yes you can. However, there is a catch. You have to complete the Den of Evil quest on each of the difficulties. So for example, if you complete on normal, you have that one respec chance. If you use that up, you have to wait till Nightmare mode. Same thing, if you use the Nightmare mode version up, you have to wait till Hell. Now, if you use the Hell version mode, well, you're going to have to hunt down the final boss of each act for a certain drop, and then combine those drops in the cube. I have the recipe there for you. Still, my advice on it is just hold out on normal difficulty. Just try each of the skills at least once or twice. If you really like it, stick with it. Otherwise, go ahead and respec after you've beaten the game. That's about it for the respec. I am going to go ahead and give you all some final advice before ending the video. Definitely upgrade your belt, because the better quality of belt you have, the more potions you could definitely carry. So for example, you find a nice heavy belt, well, you can carry more potions than a regular belt. Always make sure you check out equipment when you do see it on the ground. If you like what you see, go ahead and use it. Skills, if it's your favorite skills, go ahead and commit to it. Otherwise, just keep on experimenting until you find what skills you do like. Take full advantage of the Horadric Cube, the Runewords, or anything else of the matter. And if you die, it's alright. It's not the end of the world. Just try different tactics. Sometimes it's okay to fight, and better times okay to retreat. And last but not least, try to strive for every waypoint and explore every corner of this game. Well, everyone, this is it for my Don't Panic Diablo 2 New Player Guide. This is Lord Fenton signing off. Thank you for watching, and have a great day or night. Please stay safe. Please subscribe to my channel for more classic and modern gaming videos just like this. If you like what you see, then hit the video on the upper left hand corner, one of my suggestions, or YouTube suggestions on the lower left hand corner. Have a great day or night, and be careful with this guy when you try to spend your gold.